Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here. For checking out the series, of course, you know what to do. If you like what you see, what you hear, hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. And I'm so excited to have them back. JoJo Garza, Los Lonely Boys, their first new album in 11 years. Hello.
Hey, how y'all doing, man? You
It's
got
great to,
me.
yeah, man. It's great to see you. It's great to have you. It's great to have new music from the band again. As I mentioned, 11 years, you got this new record, Resurrection, which is so much fun to listen to. I know we've had about a little over a year build up on this one. I think I just need to throw the congrats at you for making it back.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate that. It has been a very long time, and I think that the title of the name is fitting for the amount of time that it's taken to put out a new album, put out new music, as well as being off the choice we made to be off the road for the last 3 years or something. It was right before COVID hit, man, and so we're really excited. We're really pleased with the work we've done. And I think that people are going to get a sense of, you know, what Los Lonely Boys were originally known for. I guess you could say. I mean, it's kind of weird to say that because we feel like we've been using the same formula, if you will, to write the music that we've been writing throughout all the years. But you'll get a sense of home as well as a sense of a lot of maturation musically, and some growth and things like that. So we're very excited.
Yeah. And it is, I mean, you guys definitely have the sound. And not that you don't play around with that sound, within it. But to go into these sessions, to know that you are now going, that it has been 10 years and for everything that's happened, putting the band on pause and in the pandemic and everything else, like when you come back into this, and especially with that title, Resurrection coming off of your last album, with Revelation, does that is it an answer to that record in any way?
It's really cool you're asking that because man, that's something I've really thought about a lot too. I'm like, wow, it's really wild. We had Revelation, and then it's. I think on its own, it's sort of an answer to that, man. I mean, because it's just something that is supposed to happen after a revelation kind of thing. For us, it wasn't. We didn't really pay any mind to that as far as the last record being called that, but it just naturally is that. The real reason we're calling it Resurrection is because, I mean, the main reason is because we weren't sure after 2019 when we got off the road, which, by the way, we had beat the pandemic by just, and the reason I'm saying beat is because we didn't know it was coming.
Hmm.
I mean, we thought we were just getting off the road and going to take a little hiatus, go on hiatus, to take a little sabbatical, if you will. Um, and so when that came around the following couple of months, in 2020, we felt like it was almost like we had been given this may sound offensive to some people, but like we were given a blessing or some foresight into what was coming, Um, and so we just weren't sure what was going to happen. A lot of other musicians, it hit everybody really hard. But for being a traveling musician, we had nowhere to go, man.
Right.
And so when we finally came back together, the management of the Who, they had given us a call and asked if we wanted to play some dates, which was right around 3 years later, man. And so Revelation being the prerequisite to Resurrection, and then in the midst of that too, feeling like, and I've said this before, that if you look at things in the terms of like creator terms, they say that a day is a year in
Mhm.
time, and for us, it was right around 3 years. We took our 3 days rest, if you will, and uh, and here we are again.
Yeah. And it made sense. I mean, for any band or artist that gets the luxury of a career that gets to stay around a long time, you'll get to a point where you kind of have to pump the brakes or put it into park or whatever it is for a lot of people. That's common, that's natural. Then it becomes like, what then brings you back? I mean, getting a call from the Who, by the way, sure. Answer the call, open for the Who every single time. But I think that's how the story goes. Like you needed to pump the brakes a little bit. Like what was the reason then? Why did you want to come back?
The real reason is purpose, believing that it wasn't. I mean, because man, we had been working so hard, and you obviously understand or have heard the story that it's got to come to a halt for a little bit. It
Mm.
seems like, man, and that's happened many, many times with many other artists as well. It's not something we ever even intended on ever happening or anything like that, but it just felt like okay, kids were growing. Every time we came home, they were different people, and now we're looking up at them and things like that. I mean, family, the way things were going at home with family ties is another one of the main reasons. But what brought us back is purpose, knowing that in a way, and I want to word this correctly. In a way, it's a little bit selfish to have such a gift as like as music, to
Mhm.
be able to be given such a gift and to keep it for yourself, or to go like, oh well, I'm too tired to do something right now or whatever. you know it felt like we came to this decision, which we had years before, but it was a sort of a revisiting or a resurrection of the idea, and saying that we had purpose to fulfill still, and it wasn't our own. It's still not our own. And we tell this to anyone and everyone that we talk to, that as much as we believe that we put ourselves to sleep, and as much as we believe that we wake ourselves up, we believe even more so, and even more strongly, that it is purpose from the divine creator of all things and experience, uh, that each one of us, just like you as well, no matter what we're doing, that we have actual purpose, and or I dare use the word obligation, but it's definitely purpose, where we're here for something, and we came together going, okay, we got this call from the Who, and they're asking for us to do this short run of dates in these big stadiums and things, and as tired as we are, whatever, we came to the decision saying what we have to do is represent the creator in the and express the reason that we believe we were given this gift,
Mhm.
and that's to spread ultimately love, truth, joy, as well as a bit of hard times, and showing that we as people experience that together. So divine purpose, you could say, is what the real reason is.
Yeah, no, I love that, and how you work that into the music. I mean, how that all comes into this record. Um, I'm looking at the track list here, and did you handle the producing? Did you do all the producing for this?
Well, my brothers gave me a shot, man. They said, hey, I mean, because we've been doing this a long time,
Uh-huh.
and we've all learned just different aspects of the trade, and so one of the things that was always happening is, I mean, we all sat in the control rooms with the other producers and engineers and things, but it was just something that I was just drawn to, that I was just felt like I got to be in here and see what they're doing, see what's actually going on. And so when it came to this, uh, they basically said like, you know what, bro, we don't need any other producer, because we've got, and I don't like to say it, but they go, but we've got JoJo Garza, man, and it wants to bring a tear to my eye, because, and that's a big chair to sit in when it comes to putting something in stone, so to speak, like music. And so, man, when they told me that, I said, all right, guys, I'm gonna do everything I can to get us a touchdown with every track.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they said, hey, so if you look at the tracks, you'll see that it says produced by, but ultimately we really do everything together,
Mhm.
and as much credit as I want to take, or I would like to take, the truth is that every decision that even I made went by the brothers too, and was like, hey, how's this feel, how's that feel? But when it came to like getting a song to that point, yeah, it was myself, along with Chris Jolin from Opus Audio Labs, who was, which by the way, I've been saying this in most recent interviews, is this guy's very like very much a pioneer in the recording industry because we were able to do a lot of this record via internet.
Mhm.
We were using Zoom. We were using a thing called Audio Movers. And one of the really cool things is that he was in Chicago engineering and moving our board in Lonelyville Studios.
Right.
And so probably some people have done things like this or experienced it, but for us, it was like this was a big jump in technology for us. We're like, wow, this is really amazing. And so shout out to Christian then at Opus Audio Labs for the work that he did too, man. Because uh, I believe that dude is he's a true send, from the light, man, for sure.
Isn't that crazy? Just what we can do, like international,
You know, right
global,
now,
right? Right. In the here we are in the room together. But there you are. So you're in the seat, you're in the producer seat, and you're making those decisions. So when you're thinking about this record, when you guys are getting into the weeds of it, like, do you then like, what's the vibe? Like, what did you want this record to sound like? What did it end up arriving to? And was that your vision that you saw?
I think one of the things that that we've tried to accomplish over the years with other producers and working with other people is we've really wanted to try to show it's hard to really call it diversity, but I'm going to use that word real quick just to get the concept out. Is we've really tried to show the diversity or the difference in making or sort of melding these different styles or genres of music into one thing. Because it takes in you're looking at things from a scientific perspective, but it takes many elements to create something. And one of the things that kept happening in the past is that exactly what you're asking is what's the theme? Where are we going with this? And one of the things that thing that we really wanted to express to everyone, and I think you can see it and feel it on some of the other records as well, man, is that Los Lonely Boys are not about one specific style or genre. What we are about is one specific inclusive thing that's called music.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter if one of the songs feels like rock and roll, one of the songs feels like um, country rock, one of the songs feels like pop rock, or even some will say yacht rock or whatever. For Los Lonely Boys, we have been trying all of this time to create, like I said, inclusivity type of thing where it's not ejecting or segregating someone else just because their appreciation for a style of music. For Los Lonely Boys, music is music, man.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what you call it. You can call it genre. And the reason, one of the big reasons is because we want to bring people together. The human race, whether we're different ethnicities or anything like that, we're one race.
Mm-hmm.
And our music is representative of that. That we can, if the song's supposed to sound like, heavy metal, it's going to sound like heavy metal. If it's meant to sound like hip hop or something really pop,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's meant to do. And brother, I tell you right now, the type of people we are, every song that's ever been given to us, it sort of seems to appear out of thin air. And it really does. It's like you listen, you wait, you listen, and it's like that idea just comes and you can kind of grab them out of the air. And ultimately it comes down to that, once again, that divine purpose. If you have an open connection to this,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to receive.
And when we get into listen to it too, it's like all these different little styles that come up throughout the record. I mean, God, the contrast of Bloodwater and Dance with Me, it just in themselves, because Bloodwater, I mean, it's so dark. Well, I don't know if dark, it's darker and it's slinky and it's mysterious and it's what an epic way to close the album. And then you got Dance with Me, which is, something a bit more, I mean, it's definitely upbeat and it's fun. Like that, it seems like that would be coming from two separate, and the way you made them work on the same album, like no easy feat, I know.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that anybody can recognize that. And once again, I can't. There's no way I'm going to take full credit, even though they gave me the producer job. There's no way I'm going to take full credit for that.
Mm.
But what is some of the cool things about these songs is like songs like Blood Water. See, because an album isn't just you just bring 10 songs to the table and that's no, you bring multiple songs. You bring 20 songs, 30 songs, and these 10 made the cut. Just for us feeling confident and pleased with the ability to say, oh, we this represents what we're feeling in this moment in time. A song like Blood Water, when it first was approached or brought to the table, I was like, okay, it's a great song. It's a blues thing, you know, and I was like, are we sure we want to go in this direction? We talked about it all as a team, and I'm going to tell you right now, that song did some amazing things in the studio, man. And what it became, yes, you say it's got this sort of mysterious, like dark thing to it, but there's also, a lot of people they tend to lose sight of the light, even if it's a speck, because of darkness. And I like to tell people that even in the dark, the light of the moon is still light. It doesn't matter. You just have to remember that and find that in yourself. And so a song like that, and I'm going to tell you some of the cool things that happened. One of the really cool things about that song is the tone that Henry achieved for them riffs that he is just, I mean, he's just melting your ears, man, off. And this is crazy because over the years we've done multiple things. We did stacks of amps and multiple microphones and big rooms and tight rooms and trying to blend the two. He used one, probably a 10 or 8 or 10-inch speaker and got some of the biggest sounds
Wow.
he's ever gotten. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics too, I mean, that song is it's almost prophetic, man.
Mm.
It can make people like shy away or like get eerie feelings or whatever. But all it is really about bringing that to the forefront of people's minds, bringing those thoughts and that, like, don't get me wrong, man. We are believers, but we also don't try to in any way force our beliefs on people, even through music, But we do find it to be a very expressive way to let people know how we feel inside. And
Yeah.
you'd be surprised how many other people go like, "Yeah, man, yeah, I feel it, I feel it, I feel it."
You can those emotions are there, and even on the other ones, like Dance with Me, like what it does, See Your Face, which is probably maybe my favorite on the record. The feeling of
Cool,
that one,
man.
the lyrics of that one, and then of course Wish You Would. Our first listen on that one, it seemed like in this great melting pot of music, the Beatles have been sort of a guiding lights. Like we can hear you've covered them in the past a couple times, at least on record, I think, or at least
Yeah.
versions of the Beatles. But do you recognize it when it finds its way into one of your own songs?
We absolutely do. And sometimes, man, it's done on purpose.
Mm.
It just is. It's like when you listen to a song like Dance with Me, it shows, and this is really cool because, and I'm going to quote the guy. He's the engineer as well as the producer, but he's also the sax player of Los Lobos. His name
Mm.
is Steve Berlin. And when we showed him that song, some time ago, the way he phrased it or worded it was, that is the classic Los Lonely Boys sound of what Latin rock means to them. He said, because you've had a song like that almost on every single one of your albums.
Mm.
He said, it's not the same,
Right.
but it shows that root, I guess, if you will.
Hmm.
And songs like, Wish You Would. The funny thing about that is that Henry and I and Ringo, all three of us were just kind of like, let's try to let's go in this like Beatlesque, or let's go with that sort of manner, if you will, in that frame of thought. Let's go there and let's see if I mean, it's probably a bit maybe a bit more Eastern than what they talk like, but
That still sounds pretty good to me. That's not bad.
but we were basically like, let's just mess around. Let's just and I just hit a couple of chords on the piano, and I was like, those changes are awfully Beatlesque, And so we're like, all right, let's try. And we were even singing like, yeah, like singing words and that sort of kind of like idea, like just making up funny phrases and whatnot. And what happened was we came up with a bit of changes or whatever, and I got really excited about it. I mean, we
Mhm.
were working on a bunch of other things, but I was like, I'm sending this to myself, to my home studio. We were at Lonelyville at Henry's place, and I sent it to myself here to what I call Six Strings Productions. And when I got home that night, I I mean I stayed up till probably 4 a.m. just going like, this thing is too special. I know it was a joke,
Mhm.
but it got really special, man. And then I was able to come up with a little melody for the way it's gonna sing, and stuff. And then I brought it back to the guys the next day, and I said, "Check this out. Check out what came of this joke of ours." And they were like, "Wow!" And I had some humming that I had done on the recording, so they could hear. And the one of the things about this song, as you can see, is that it doesn't have like its own. You know how some songs they have a formula where it's verse, chorus, verse, bridge, then chorus, whatever.
Mhm.
This one is a what we would call, I believe, it's an attached chorus. It's like at the end of every verse, you get that. It's kind of like almost like Hey Jude did.
Right.
It's there and you're constantly hearing, "Oh, you're gonna wish you would." And so when it came to the bridge, it's that I'm sorry, not the bridge, but the B section of chorus. It's the still every time you get to choose. And I showed them that, and man, they got chills and started wanting to get teary eyed just because of the changes. And so that like I said, we purposely were messing around with that. But then we went into do some shows towards El Paso, and we recorded this in a place called Tornillo, which is right outside El Paso, at a place called Sonic Ranch.
Mhm.
If you haven't seen or heard of this place
Yeah, I
anywhere,
definitely know Sonic Ranch. Yeah.
you got to check it out because this is a musician's. It's a safe haven to go and just be super creative, man.
Mhm.
And so we were able to cut the piano, the drums, and the bass tracks there in what was called the Neve room, which is really cool, man. That Neve that they got in there is part of Motown history, bro.
Right.
So
Right.
we got to record on the same things that they were all recording: Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye and the Jackson Five, and that was really cool. Just a cool little what do you call fun fact.
Mhm.
Um, and then we, listening to the tracks on the way home, we were able to start writing lyrics and stuff like that. And so Wish You Would was born. And then we just, for some reason we said, look, we've never been cartoons. So for the video, we worked with Gary Dorsey at House of Dorsey, and we came up with this concept for the treatment being what we really love today. To see ourselves as cartoons, man, is super cool.
You still get to finally do that. That's it. I was thinking like so often those little jokes in the studio you push aside and you don't take seriously. Like seeing that you guys went, wait, though, what if we did? What if we took this and now made it serious? And it ends up being this incredible single, to kind of shepherd in the record. I mean, good on
Thank
you
you, man.
for seeing what was possible out of that.
Yeah, and one of the crazy things about being in the biz is and maybe this is just a personal thing for each writer, is you tend to feel like each song is really gonna do something special, and what is considered a single or a hit or whatever is, that's sort of when you write songs for so many years, you start to go like, I don't know what I'm writing anymore. It's just a good song. It feels like a cool song.
Mm.
And when they picked it, it was like, are you sure you don't want to pick this one or that one? And they're like, well, we feel like this is a good song. And we all went like, okay, if that's what, BMG, Shelter Music, they're like, we really love all of it, but this is the one we feel like we're going to come with right before the release of the album. And it's going to be, like you said, it's going to shepherd in the rest of the album.
Yeah. And for all this too, to come on the 20th anniversary of that debut, Kismet, little planning involved? That,
Man, I am not going to lie to you, brother. No, That was crazy when they were telling us, and we've been hearing it in a lot of interviews. Is
Uh-huh.
you guys, it's been 20 years, like almost like on the dot. It was in March, I believe.
Yeah.
We're going like, what? Like for reals? I mean, brother, it's a whirlwind when you get
Mhm.
into the way it happened for Los Lonely Boys, man. Or as we
Mhm.
say, like a Texas twist or a Texas tornado, man. It just takes you all around. And when we did take that time off, we were able to really reflect on a lot of things. But one of the things we didn't really think about was that 20-year mark was coming up. And so, I mean, brother, some of the best things that happen are the unplanned things.
Mhm. It's great when those link up like that. So then do like you're touring the record. Do you also take the time to, I mean, I'm sure you play those songs anyway. Those are such classic songs from that debut record. But is there kind of any extra celebration that you put on it then?
Well, we definitely, when we're writing songs or trying to create albums, we like to, and I don't know, I don't definitely don't want to sound selfish, man, but we definitely want to make sure that we feel good about it first
Mhm.
before we can even feel like anyone's going to be able to appreciate it or enjoy it. But the crazy thing that happens is when you release your first album, people tend to, they see you in this image, if you will, or this sculpted kind of thing, and then people start asking for new stuff. And then so you bring new stuff, and then they start asking for old stuff. And
Of
so the
course.
thing for us is learning how to juggle that or balance that is something that we're always definitely always aware of, man. So when we're touring, even in the last albums and stuff, when we're touring the new albums, we've learned over the period of our career that people really like to hear the old stuff, man. And so we keep that as a big part of our show, man,
Mhm.
because we've heard it and felt it so much over the years that there's once again, man, when something's not if it's not broken, you can't, you don't fix it, and
Yeah.
so but we definitely like to incorporate as many of the new tunes as we can. uh, One of the things that we've been talking about for quite a while is trying to create this sort of like collage of the older things so that they happen in a you know sort of kind of quick instance or whatever, so that we have more time to show the new tunes.
Yeah.
Uh,
One of those power medleys. They used to do
yeah,
those. Speaking of, yeah.
basically like that. And but don't I didn't say anything, so we'll see what happens, man.
I really do. I enjoy because those you get those medleys a lot, especially back in the 60s and 70s, those bands that were just hit makers, string them together and those were fun, and even in the 80s when they would do those mega mixes on the radio, it's like it's the Beatles mega mix. Like that became a single in itself and was a chart-topping thing, It's no, I'm all for those.
Yeah,
Um, this record is fantastic. It's so great to have you all back with Resurrection and what you're still able to accomplish. I mean, seriously, congrats on all this. It's a fantastic record.
man, brother, that means a lot to us, and we just want to thank anyone like yourself that's willing to let people know that Los Lonely Boys are still at it, brother, because we're still those three brothers from San Angelo, Texas. We're still just people like everyone else. We just feel like we have a job to do, and that's to express divine creativity or creation, if you will, divine creation through us ourselves as human beings, man, because we are the ultimate consciousness. We are we're representative to all our brothers and sisters in the animal kingdom, in the plant kingdom, and we're the representatives for all of that, man, because we're able to talk and we're able to express the way we do, and to be able to do it through something like music or any type of art form,
Mhm.
like writing or even DJing, things like that. Then that is purpose, brother. And so you have to do with it the best you can, because it wasn't given to you to just hold in your pocket.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it. Seriously, man, it's been a real pleasure.
Brother, it's great talking to you too, and hopefully we'll be seeing you down the road, man.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week, new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All three of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.